What's up guys, today we're going to be talking about how to stay alive as Feral Druid. Running around in leather against plate wearers can feel like a complete nightmare if you're not using your defensives correctly. So today we're going to go over all the different defensive abilities for Feral Druid. We're also going to go over a couple conduits that are going to help make sure you stay alive longer, and hopefully we get through this info nice and quick for you guys. So the first thing we want to talk about is the defensive ability Bark Skin. Bark Skin's super important if you're playing Druid. It's going to offer you 20% damage reduction. The most important thing about Bark Skin is you can use it while you're stunned, frozen, incapacitated, feared, or asleep, and in all shapeshift forms. Bark Skin's going to be the ability you use the most. For instance, if you're getting in a fight with a rogue or something, you get jumped, you see them come out of stealth on you and they start attacking you. You can still use Bark Skin to get that defensive up right away to try to save some of that health because you're going to be sitting in that stun for a little bit. Another great thing about Bark Skin, the cooldown is only 1 minute and it actually stays up for 12 seconds. So you're really only looking at a 48-second cooldown between the time you do have it up and when you can pop it again. The next thing we want to talk about is Survival Instincts. Survival Instincts is your big cooldown, right? It's going to give you 50% damage reduction, but it only lasts for 6 seconds. Now the biggest part about it and the worst part is that you can only use it once every 3 minutes. That cooldown is huge. So it's really important that you don't waste Survival Instincts on something that you didn't need, because as soon as that 6 seconds is over, you're about to get clapped straight into the ground. Another thing about Survival Instincts, you can't use it like Bark Skin, right? You can't use it while you're stunned. So if you get stunned and someone opens up on you, and you can't pop Survival Instincts, you don't have Trinket, you might be done for. It's called Survival Instincts for a reason, right? You need to use this before the big damage happens to you, right? To use the same example with Rogue. So a Rogue opens up on you, you pop your Bark Skin, you're hanging out. Once you get out of that stun, you can kind of gauge what cooldowns they have left and what they've done to you already. If you think they're going to pop some big damage into you or they already took a big chunk of your health, go ahead and use Survival Instincts right away before they stun you again. Also, if you're out in the open and you're getting clapped by a ranged or something like that and you're trying to get to them and you're taking a bunch of damage and you need to figure out what you can do to stay alive, don't be afraid to pop Survival Instincts and Bark Skin at the same time. That's going to give you 70% damage reduction for 6 seconds and then an extra 20% damage reduction from the Bark Skin for the remainder of the duration. So you're talking about saving yourself a lot of damage if something big like a Chaos Bolt or something like that is coming your way. Another thing we want to talk about that's super important is how often are you using Bear Form? You should be using Bear Form as often as possible. A lot of times if you try to tank damage in Cat Form, you're just going to get completely smashed. You shapeshift to Bear Form whenever you need to, whenever you're taking a bunch of damage. You get 220% increased armor and 25% increase on stamina. So you're going to get a bunch more health and that's going to help absorb some of the damage that's coming your way. Now along with Bear Form, there's a couple different spells and abilities that are important to use also depending on what's going on. So the first one is Iron Fur, right? If you're getting attacked and you have a bunch of rage and you're ready to go, you can convert that 40 rage into Iron Fur. So that's going to give you an extra 1,210 armor for 7 seconds. So sometimes it's worth it to pop the Iron Fur if you're sitting in Bear Form longer than you expected to. Now let's talk about the talents for a second. If you want to stay alive as much as you possibly can, a lot of people play Resto Affinity, but I think Guardian Affinity is the way to go. You get increased damage reduction just straight off the top, 6%, which is huge. You also get the abilities Frenzied Regeneration and Incapacitating Roar, which are two great defensive spells. If you play Resto Affinity, you get the Ysera's Gift instant heals every now and again. You also get Swift Mend and Rejuve and the other heals, but honestly I think playing Resto Affinity has a higher skill cap, so if you're not as confident in what you're doing right now, Guardian Affinity is much easier, and I still think it's a little bit better in the long run. So let's talk about Frenzied Regeneration a little bit. So when you shift into Bear Form, you have Frenzied Regeneration available to you if you're playing Guardian Affinity. And the best part about it is it only costs 10 rage. So as soon as you shift, you can press this ability. Frenzied Regeneration is going to heal you for 32% of your health over 3 seconds. So basically the way this works is it ticks 4 times, right? You have 4 heals that'll go. If I shift into Bear Form, right? You'll see I get 24 rage. I can hit Frenzied Regen instantly. 5, 5, 5, 5. So you're talking 22k healing. Now this is going to scale based on the amount of health that you have, but still being able to regenerate 32% of your health that quickly is insane. On top of that, the cooldown for it is only 35 seconds, so you're going to have this ability up more often than not. Knowing when to shift into Bear Form and cast Frenzied Regeneration is going to save your life so many times. Say you're getting kited by a hunter or someone's running from you, you're trying to catch up to them and they're just shooting at you, right? Don't just run at them in Cat Form. Shift into Bear Form, hit Frenzied Regen and keep doing your thing on your way there. The more recovery that you can do ahead of time, the better you're going to be in that fight. Another thing that's really important is obviously going to be using Regrowth correctly. So if you go through the talent, the baseline for Regrowth is about 5,000 healing. And then a really important part in the talent too, you'll see that the initial heal, so that big heal coming from Regrowth, has a 40% increased chance to critically hit if the target already has Regrowth active. So if you Regrowth yourself, and you end up having to Regrowth yourself again, you have a 40% increased crit chance, which is huge. Now as a Feral Druid, when you pop off with your combo point abilities, you're going to get instant procs for Regrowth, so make sure Regrowth is in a spot where you can hit it really easily. to get those heals on yourself or whatever you need to do. Right, so as soon as we get a regrowth proc, you can go ahead and hit it. You see, mine crit for 10,536 right there. Plus an additional 1,000 comes off of the ticks. So being able to instant heal yourself like that for 10,000 every time almost when you do a combo point ability is insane. Make sure you don't waste those. I know it's really easy to get lost in a fight and continue to want to do damage, do damage, do damage. Heal yourself. Shift to bear. If you're almost dead and you get yourself a 10k regrowth, plus switch to bear form and hit frenzied regen, you're talking about healing yourself for 30k almost? I only have 47,000 health in bear form. Like, you're talking about getting full heals off, and you're able to do that almost constantly. Now, before I go into conduits, there is one other way you can heal yourself a shit ton if you're playing Night Fae. There's so many ways to do damage as a Feral Druid. Don't think you need to use Convoke all the time just for damage. If you're in a really tough spot and you need to heal yourself and your team or whatever, don't be afraid to pop into caster form, get some space, and go ahead and pop your Convoke the Spirits. You can get really big heals off by convoking, and sometimes it's just what you have to do to get everyone full health instantly, and it's more important than damage, right? You can't do damage if you're dead, so stay alive, keep your team alive. So another thing I want to show you guys is the importance of some of these conduits that can help keep yourself alive longer. Innate Resolve is an awesome conduit. It's going to increase your healing on both Regrowth and Frenzied Regeneration. So the higher item level version you get, the more healing increase you're going to get. As you can see at item level 200, the one that I have gives me almost 17% increased healing on both of those abilities, which is insane. You can also run Well-Honed Instincts. This one's going to give you basically an instant Frenzied Regeneration whenever you fall below 40% health that you don't even have to use yourself. So you can stay in cat form and this Frenzied Regeneration will go off. Now, if you're doing all of that stuff and you're still not able to live longer, which you 100% should be able to, there's one other thing you can do in the PvP talents to try to help you stay alive more. So you can pick which one you want to sacrifice. Typically, these are the best PvP talents to run for Feral. But the other one that you can run is Strength of the Wild. Strength of the Wild has a couple really good benefits for staying alive. In bear form, you're going to get increased maximum health by 15%, and you gain 5 rage every time you're attacked in bear form, which is going to help you stack more iron fur, get a frenzied regen off, or whatever you need. And then in caster form, you'll see Strength of the Wild says, when using regrowth on an ally, the initial heal will always have a critical effect, and the cast time of the regrowth will be reduced by 50% for 6 seconds. So you're guaranteed crits on your initial heal, and you already saw mine crit for 10k already. So once you shift into caster form and start casting regrowths, boom, 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 those heals are going to go off super big, super fast, and you're going to be really happy. So there you have it, guys. That's a quick run through of all the different defensive abilities, conduits, and PvP talent changes you can make to make sure you stay alive for as long as possible as Feral Druid. Also remember, you have 2 sprints, you have travel form, run away when you need to run away, go get your heals off behind a pillar, do what you have to do wherever you are, whether it's in a battleground, in world PvP, or whether you're in the arena. Make sure you're aware of which times are optimal to run away, and if you're not sure, just go ahead and try running away a couple times. You might end up getting yourself or someone else killed by running away too early, but we all have to make those mistakes as we're learning which times are right and which times are not. And one more time, don't forget, shift into bear form, press frenzied regen. You're going to be super happy. Thank you guys for watching. Hopefully this helped you guys out. If you have any questions, situational or whatever, feel free to ask down in the comments below, and I'll see you guys next time in the next video.